always searching for those wasted years. Faces make it stand, but realize you're living in the golden years. Too much time on my hands, I got you on my mind. Can't ease this pain so easily. When you can't find the words to say, it's hard to make.
Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I'd introduce you to a little bit of Iron Maiden. Wasted Years from the Somewhere in Time album. You misses a beat, Don said. What? You misses a beat? Yeah, well, I don't play drums anymore, mate. Welcome, Don. Thanks for coming. Right, well, today we're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive into the behaviour of Rebecca and Jake Haro, the parents of missing or allegedly missing Emmanuel Haro in Yucaipa in California. We did cover it on the last live. I'm sorry I wasn't here to do the live last night. My health gets the better of me sometimes, so I just wasn't here. I do apologise. But we're going to have a ball tonight because we're going to look at these two idiots. And I've linked Jay Scott's Guilty of Crime in the description, and I've also linked Practical Linguistics in the description as well. I should put Jay Scott on the description on my actual channel, to be honest with you, because the channels that my favorite channels, I link in the main description. So what we're first going to do is I'm going to use a screenshot of Practical Linguistics here. Now that should be up on the screen. Can you all see it? No, you can't. All right. Can you see that? Okay. I don't even need to be on the camera. Right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? You should be able to hear me now. Because, right, cool. Okay, I'll just have to stay on stage then. So sorry, because I've got to keep nipping in between the StreamYard so I can read chat and the actual page. So, okay, so this blue line here, I think he's put it in blue because it's a qualifier. She doesn't need to tell us why she laid him down. All she had to say was, "I got him out of the car seat to change his diapers, laid him down, and then blah, blah." So she doesn't need to qualify it, but she feels the need to qualify it. She feels the need to convince us what's going on. And somebody said "hola," which is Spanish for hello, right? Hola, and that is all I remember. Now, it obviously isn't because. And then she says, "I saw white." Now, it comes up with a very interesting point that I'd actually missed. And I'm gonna bring it up because I think it's a great point. He makes a lot of other good points in this as well. Most of them I had noticed, but I hadn't picked up on this one. She says, "And I saw white." Now, when she says, "And that's all I remember," that usually tells us that it's not. This isn't what we would call a temporal lacuna. Now, a temporal lacuna is skipping forward in time or a time compression. And I don't think this is a temporal lacuna. However, what I do think is we've got a little bit of leakage here. She says, "And I saw white." Now, most people, especially if they get smacked in the back of the head, the back of the head is where the occipital lobe is. Okay, so if I get rid of that for a second, look at the effort I went to you guys. I even searched my bedroom so I could get this little light so I could highlight this brain thing for you on the wall. So I hope you can all see it. In fact, I've got a little one here. Look at that. Right now, see that? This is where your occipital lobe is. All right. So when you get banged, the occipital lobe deals with all the eyesight. Okay, so your eyesight comes through the thalamus, straight to the occipital lobe, and then back to the limbic system. Basically, the hippocampus and the amygdala. This is the limbic system in here. I've actually got printouts of the limbic systems, and I'll have to fish them out because I've got no idea where they are. So this is why when you get banged in the back of the head, a lot of people say they see stars, or it's because it's where your occipital lobe is. Everything that deals with your eyesight is all at the back of your head here. So when you get cracked in the back of the head, you will see dots because it's just the impact causes what's the word? Interrupts the electrical signals. So, but the thing is, she's got a black eye, hasn't she? When we have a look. So we're gonna we're gonna carry on looking at this. And then she says, "And I saw white." Now, it's just very funny because people who get knocked out, they don't see white. You see white when you're about to faint. And I have fainted and I've nearly fainted. And that's when you go white. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit crime. Because she actually shows the video. Uh-huh. Huh. So here we go. Right. All right. So this is what we're going to use, and I I know I'm okay to use it because I know I speak to Jay Scott for Guilty of Crime. Go and give her a look. Um, so she says, and I saw white. Now, if you have a look at this, and I'm going to point out a couple of things as well. Let's make this full screen. Okay, can you all see that? Can you see Jay Scott's hair? Is she rocking that hair like a boss or what? That looks cool as hell. Anyway, what I did recognize, what I did notice, body language wise, because we went through the body language of her bad acting, his pathetic acting. But have you noticed there's a lot of distance between them? All right. And I'll find a bit of the video where she's talking and he's sitting next to her, holding her hand, but he's leaning forward, looking right at her. When I find that, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is because she says I saw white. Now I'm wondering. Practical linguistics says, "Oh, it could be an embedded confession." I don't think this would be considered an embedded confession. I saw white. I think what we would consider this as is leakage, a little bit of leakage. See this white hoodie here he's wearing. Everybody else is wearing t-shirts. This is the middle of summer in California. Everybody else is in t-shirts and he's been wearing this white hoodie for at least a couple of days. So this is why we're wondering. And I did think about this very, very briefly, but he brought it up, and I thought to myself, that actually is leakage. It reminded me of it because I was concentrating so much on other stuff that I didn't clock the fact that I didn't even realize he'd been wearing this for 2 days. So there are some of us that believe that young Emmanuel Haro is no longer with us and hasn't been with us for more than a couple of days. But so we're going to go through. I'm going to play a bit of this and just have a listen.
The couple is innocent. She says Emmanuel is her daughter's pride and joy and that she waited years to have a baby boy of her own. The grandmother also says investigators asked her daughter to take a lie.
And again, just because the grandma says that, we gotta think the grandma's just this older lady filled with love and innocence about the family. I do not believe any of this they're saying. And next we're gonna find out why. All right. Everyone does not agree. Many people don't agree with grandma. Other family members talk. And this record of this guy shows me that he's abusive, that he abused probably both children and his wife.
A detector test, but her husband said no until they had a lawyer.
She's just going crazy, she can't handle it anymore.
She says her daughter is receiving death threats and her 2-year-old has been removed from the home. As the search for baby Emmanuel goes on 48 hours after his mother claims someone ran off with him.
BS, man, BS.
And we have learned tonight that the baby's father does have a criminal record. And the grandmother told us that investigators were out at the couple's home in Cabazon, searching the home with cadaver dogs and also digging up parts of the property. We tried to reach out to San Bernardino County investigators for any information on that, but they aren't taking any more questions today. Meantime, they are asking anyone with any information about this case, anyone with any...
Yeah, guys, they're not going to be searching someone's house and digging up somebody's house if they don't have really strong evidence to point to them. All right. I just want to tell you that they're not going to waste their resources on any of that. Trust me. And what's up, Thought Criminal? How you doing? Good to see a bunch of you guys new here. Any old time grandma defends her son who offed his girlfriend and staged it to look like she offed herself in prison for 50 years. Grandma's kids can do no wrong. Absolutely. That I agree. King Tula, your girl from Guilty of Crime to get in the algorithm. All right. I see a lot of new people here and it's free to hit that like button.
Parking lot. They made up an excuse that their car was broken into as Rebecca was at the game watching her son.
Now, this is what I want to point out. The distance between them. And look at her. She's even leaning away from him slightly. Now, that indicates to me that these two are not a solid unit. There's psychological and emotional distance in there, so much so that she's creating distance between her and him physically. These two are not a unit. These two are two separate people. I firmly believe that he's been beating the living daylights out of her. He's got previous for harming youngsters, 10-week-old, with various healed fractures into the legs, arms, ribs, skull. He's even done time for it. So this guy has got a bit of a rap sheet where it comes to doing horrible things to little people. So listen, if I was a copper and I was there, if I was a copper over there, these two would be in cuffs already, straight away. First interview, come here, you're right, you're under arrest. And him, I'd be bouncing his head off the door a few times. Yeah, oh, Your Honor, the officer bounced my head off the door 7 times. Your Honor, he's a liar. Why is that? Well, it was more than 7 times. It was about 27. Anyway, I digress. But so we're going to go back to practical linguistics here. And she goes on to say she saw white. Now, the point that he brings up in practical linguistics is the leakage with his white top. And she says something incoherent, which we don't hear. And she says, "I fell on the floor." Now, I noticed this when I first saw it, because when you're on the outside, when you're outside, you normally use ground. The floor is normally inside. So I think she could be talking about from some experiential memory, but from a different time. I think she's including a time when he's probably knocked her to the floor, my opinion. But it's probably happened in the house. And I said, and this is why he brings this line up in red, because she abandons this. She said, and I said, and then as I got up, so this is what we would call a fragmented sentence. So automatically, when you hear a fragmented sentence, your ears should prick up, because we shouldn't be getting fragmented sentences. And she says, "I couldn't find my son. I checked all around my truck." That it sounds weird, because that I would have said I checked all around my truck and I couldn't find my son. When I heard her say this, I thought, shouldn't you be saying that the other way around? But anyway, he brings it up as well. So I'm obviously spotting stuff. And I ran into Big 5, and here we go. This is her alibi. And I asked the lady if she saw a baby or someone with a baby. Now, just think, if you're working on a till in a big store, how many people are going to be coming in and out of that shop, probably with babies anyway, or you know what I mean? Or, come on, it's very vague as well. She didn't go into the shop and ask if they saw a baby and what the baby was wearing and how long ago. This is what we would call reticence, because when she goes into a lot of detail about the lead up to it. All right, so automatically we've got narrative building, we've got long prologue, we're being primed for what DD, Deception Detective, would call the money shot, and the money shot is her child allegedly disappearing. Okay, so this is what we would call reticence, because and I would call this a temporal lacuna, because she went, I couldn't find my son. I checked all around my truck, and I ran into Big 5, and I entered and said no. This is very vague. But she's trying to put in details, but she's not putting in, and there's a lack of other details as well. There's a lack of strange details or unusual details. There's no reminiscence effect. So the reminiscence effect in statement analysis is every time you remember something that happened, particularly a high emotional state when it happened, you'll remember other bits. So every time you tell the story, you'll remember something else, and you'll remember something else the more you go over it. But there's none of that here. And there's no unusual details like, oh, I remember a red car part. None of that. So we have to be suspicious of this entire bit of speech here. And then here we go. Here's the clincher for me. He was a happy boy. He's missed an A out here. He was a happy. He didn't put it in. Look, he was a happy boy. Now, she's just referred to him, and she says recently he smiled, like she's looking back on. I think she's this here, the past tense. This clinches it. Because when your child is missing, you're presuming the child is still with us. So you should not be speaking in the past tense. It should be he is a happy boy. Recently he smiled. That gives me reason to believe that he hasn't smiled very much, because it's obviously sensitive to her to say recently he smiled. Okay. And he doesn't go into the father's bit, and we did do a bit of a dive into the father's bit, but I want to find DD. No, I want to get rid of that. I want to find the interview when they're sitting down and she's telling the story. Father's car seized 20 hours ago. Parents interview. I want to show you what I'm looking at. So we already went through this bit. No, this isn't it. I'm trying to find. I may have to do it for another live, because I can't actually find the actual interview now. But he's sitting down next to her. She's telling a story, but he's got his hand, and he's holding her hand, but he's not close to her. He's leaning forward like that and looking right at her. And I wanted to show you that, because I've seen people do that. This is how extreme narcissists, psychopaths, or bullies, basically bullies. This is how bullies behave. I think this may be it. This may be it here. You bombarded me with adverts. No one's falling for this, by the way. Nobody is falling for any of this. No, that hasn't got it. Well, this is a waste of time looking for this. It says parents interview YouTube, but then none of them show. What I'm looking for. Yeah, I don't care who you are. Oh, Hidden True Crime's pretty good. She she um she covers quite a bit. Um, so I think I'm gonna use this one. I want the bit where why is that disappeared? Why has nobody got the why can I not find the whole interview where they sit down? Because she's by the time they're sitting down and she's telling a story, um, she's told the story more than once anyway. And there's no which is how we know it's scripted because she's saying the same thing over and over again. She's not changing the story, or that she has changed the story, obviously, because there's been inconsistencies, and that's where she's gone wrong. But what I'm seeing, just from the small amounts of behaviour and speech that I have seen, um, is what I've told you here, and then the father even said, yeah, he was a good boy. He speaks to him about him in past tense. That is a dead giveaway, guys. When there's a missing child and the parents refer to that child in past tense, that is a huge, huge red flag for deception. And it usually indicates that the child has already passed. Um, so, as far as I'm concerned, fry the pair of them. I think from what from the information I've gathered and seen and heard, my opinion is he's abusive to her and children. Obviously, he's been done for abusing, for doing horrible things to youngsters before. 10 weeks old, 10-week old with healed fractures. So fractures that had already healed when he'd been taken to the hospital. 10 weeks old. I mean, what sort of absolute scumbag does that to a 10-week-old baby? What sort of scumbag does what they've done to Emmanuel Haro? I don't believe that poor kid's still with us. I believe he's gone, and I believe the parents know because without everything else I've spotted, the fact that they go into past tense when they talk about him is a dead giveaway. It's a massive red flag. That should tell you everything you need to know. So we've covered a bit of language here from the mother, but I'm trying to find because the behaviour that I see is very, very. I don't think DD covers it either. But I think he shows us he has covered this, by the way. Go and watch Deception Detective's video of this. He covers it extremely well, brings up some really good points. And obviously, what the fuck is that? And obviously, I follow DD, um, so I'm always gonna champion DD. I'm not going to use DD's video because there's nothing on there really that's going to help this particular live because even if I could find a still of it just to show you what I mean, because, excuse me. Come on, I want to see. Um, And another thing I'll bring up. I didn't write any notes. I was meant to. She never once mentions his name. She doesn't say Manuel. She just couldn't find my son. I couldn't find my son. I checked all around. He was a happy boy. Recently, he smiled. Not one mention of his name. Now, that's what we call emotional and psychological distancing. They can't mention his name anymore, in my opinion, because they know he's already gone. They don't look at him as a person anymore. They look at him as basically an unalived body. So that's probably why they can't mention his name. The only time the father mentions his name is probably once, I think. There's a. Let's just share this. I'm just going to share that. This is from Kayula. She's got 274,000 subscribers. So, do you know what? There we go. I've just subscribed and give her a like as well. So, drop by and give her a like on this video, please, because I'm just about to use a little bit of it. Look at the distance, though. Look at the distance. She's not cuddling up to him. She's pulling away. She's afraid of this guy, in my opinion.
Jake Haro was found guilty of willful child cruelty in 2023 and was charged on October 12, 2018. There is someone that is alleging on Facebook that he beat one of his children so bad that it caused brain damage. And he has a felony complaint from October 5th, 2021. Jake's sister posted a now deleted.
I cannot find. Okay, so ABC7's interview of. Oh, it's Facebook. I don't have Facebook. Go away. How do I get rid of this? This doesn't even do it either. Where's the bit where they were sitting? There was a bit that I'm wanting to show you. Where they're sitting down together. And he is holding her hand and literally, rather than just, sitting and holding her hand and being comforting, he's holding her hand, leaning forward and staring right at her. Now, in my opinion, oh, look who it is. Jay Scott's here. Hey, Jay, how you doing, mate? Brilliant. Hello, mate. Yeah, so what was I saying? So he's holding her hand and he's leaning forward and he's looking right at her. Now, I've seen that behavior so many times by bullies and manipulators. And what he's basically doing is he's grabbing her hand, he's leaning forward. Good to see you too, Jay. Hope you're doing right, mate. And he's looking right at her. And the reason why he's doing that is to manipulate her, to frighten her into making sure she gets the story right. He's not, in my opinion, he's not comforting her when he's holding her hand. He's probably squeezing it, going, you better get this right. You need to get the script right. And this is why he's leaning right forward and looking at it. You look at it when you see them sitting down. Look at the distance between them. There's a distance there. He's not right up to her. She's not right up to him. From a non-verbal communication point of view, those two do not consider each other a single unit. They are separate. Probably because he's abusive and she's afraid of him. I personally think, from what I've seen, that I think he's caused the passing of young Emmanuel, and I believe she has probably hidden him somewhere. But that's just my opinion. That's my opinion only. But this sort of behaviour is what we need to be looking out for, because this sort of thing can be prevented, especially when you've got somebody that has got so much previous. But the question I have is, what do we do? What can we do when we know? I mean, when somebody has had enough warning signs of abuse, of nastiness and neglect and abusive behavior towards children, then what was he doing around kids? Why was he allowed to have another child? That should have been whipped straight away. Over here, that would have been. If you've got convictions for anything like that and you have a baby, social services just go, we're having that. Why does it not happen in the US? You know, and this is why I do this sort of stuff, because we cannot rely on the powers that be, the police, the CPS over there, or social services so much over here. That social services make mistakes over here all the time. CPS seems to be really bad in the States. I mean, I'm sorry, I love you Americans, but your CPS system needs to sort itself out, because people like that shouldn't be around kids. What are they doing there? And when they get, I mean, I don't know how long he got, but the fact that that 10-week-old little one had healed fractures of the ribs, arms, and legs, and he's already been arrested, charged. He's done time for doing horrible things to little ones. I mean, who would want to be around a clown like that in the first place? But you get submissive women, and a lot of psychopaths will marry and get with submissive women, because what does Scott Rouse teach us about psychopaths? All psychopaths are narcissists, all of them, but not all narcissists are psychopaths. And it's a very important point to remember, according to Scott Rouse. Go and see Scott Rouse, go and see the behaviour panel. I don't really watch the behaviour panel so much anymore because of their corporate standing, but I will watch them individually. And Chase Hughes is a brilliant one for learning how to deal with toxic behaviors. Go and see him. He can tell you so much more than I can. So when you see behaviors like that, like if you remember when I mentioned to you that when you see a guy's hand on the back of a woman's neck like that, that's controlling and coercive behavior. And what kids tend to do if they feel threatened by an adult, when an adult comes in the room, is the chin goes down like that, and their arms will go right down to their side, and they'll stop moving. If you ever see a kid do that, you need to look out for it, because something's going on. So I can't obviously find a video of them two sitting down, even though they've got parent, YouTube full length, but they're not full length, because you haven't got the whole thing. So how can it be full length? Where are we? Well, I'm not going to find it by the look of it, but it doesn't matter, because there's plenty to look at anyway. So let's have a look, see if we've got. Well, I've already looked at this. Go away. I've always seen that one. You don't do it. Right. Gotta find the interview. Everyone's covering this. Everyone's covering this story. Obviously, people want clicks. But I'm covering this to show you what behaviours to look at. I don't really care about the clicks, to be honest with you. Stick a like down if you want, but this is mainly for. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right. Now I'm going to share this. This is eyes low, belly full. I'm just going to show. I'll drop him a like. There you go. This is his third like. He's got 398 subscribers. So go and drop him a like and help him grow his channel, please, if you don't mind. But I'm going to share this. This I am going to share. And because this is exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to use the screenshot. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Look at the distance between the two of them. She's not cuddling up to him. He's not cuddling up to her. But she's telling the story. And she's obviously been asked a question. Now, you see that her tongue sticking out like that? That tells me she's just said something that leaves a bad taste in the mouth. Because when you lip lick like that after you've said something, or before you say something, it often means that what you're going to say or have said, or the thought of whatever you've thought of, is leaving a bit of a bad taste in your mouth. So you lick your lips like that. It could be that her lips are drying up because she knows she's full of shit. But but what I'm saying is, look at him staring right at her, and he even leans forward. Now that is a classic sign of a bully and a manipulator, because what he's actually doing, he's staring right at her, letting her know, in my opinion, because I've seen this behavior many times over myself, and I've been in front of it, and I've watched people do this to other people. Unfortunately, I've been around people that I didn't really want to be around, and I've seen this behavior time and time again, and it's bullying, controlling, coercive, and abusive behavior. And this is the sort of thing that we have to be on the lookout for, because look what's happened. We need to educate ourselves. We need to see what's going on around us in the world that we live in. I mean, the Brian Koberger case, just look at that. Now everybody's going, oh, we all thought he was weird. Well, it's all right saying that now, but then there's the question of, well, how is it because of how he was treated that he did what he did? No, I think he did what he did because he's a psychopath and he was going to do it anyway. And I think he was hearing voices, probably a schizophrenic. So yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. This here. These are not a single unit. These consider themselves separate people. So I'm betting that there's no we pronoun in anything that they say. It's her and I reckon, especially from her. It'll be, I doubt she'll use the we pronoun when she's talking about those two. It'll be he and I, because it's psychological emotional distancing. You can see the distancing in the body language here. The non-verbals, look how far apart they are. Their son's missing. They should be cuddled up. He should have his arm around her, not squeezing her hand, looking right at her. That's because he's squeezing her hand and looking at her to make sure she gets his script right. Because what he's basically saying to her, and he's done this over and over and over, because he's obviously a psychopath. And what they do is they carry on doing what works for them, just like we all do. Like Chase Hughes tells us, we do what worked for us growing up. And that follows us into adult life. So when we used to say things and do things to get away with stuff, whether it's with parents or school teachers, or it doesn't matter, but we all do what worked for us growing up. So when we deceive, when we're being deceptive, telling lies, we will behave the exact same way that got us out of trouble as we were growing up. Psychopaths are no different. They stick to a particular behavior pattern. And this behavior that we see here On this. Oh, look! You couldn't even see it. What a clown! Right. So this is what I'm talking about. This you couldn't see it, could you? The distance between them. Look at the distance. They're not cuddled up. They're not comforting each other. Look at how he's looking over. He is looking at her, making sure she gets the script right. That's what I think's going on here. And you can see that lip sticking out there. There's no tears. I mean, look, there's no glabella in either of their foreheads. You can't see any horseshoe-shaped muscle in their foreheads. They're not going through grief. So neither of them, in my opinion, particularly even care that that boy is missing, shall we say. I don't think he's with us anymore. The fact that they both refer to him in past tense clinches it for me. That is that even in the early stage of the game, it's like 7-0 to us, 12-0, because I'm not buying a damn word they're saying. Whatever they're selling, I ain't buying it, because they're just absolutely full of crap. And the reason I know, or the reason why I'm saying I think I know what's going on here, is because I've seen people behave like this so many times towards women, towards people in jail. I've watched bullies and psychopaths do exactly the same thing to their missus over and over. The places I've lived in, the area I was brought up in, I saw a lot of this stuff, and I saw even more of it in jail. So I can see what's going on here. So this is why, this is what we need to look out for. You know, hands on the back of the neck like this, that's controlling coercive behavior. At some point, I'm going to try and find the whole video. But the thing is, there are so many people covering this, and I don't want to step on other people's toes. Because this is why I try not to go live when Justin's live, or when Jay Scott's live. You know, Justin from Clutched and Pearls, or you know, any mysteries, crime cast. All the descriptions to all of those are in all the links are in the description on my channel. So this is only going to be a short one. It's not going to be a 2-hour long one. Probably going to be another 10 minutes, because this is the best I can find on. This is literally the best I can find right now to show you. He actually, there's bits where he actually leans forward. And when he sees it, he's looking right at her when he leans forward as well. And he's not, it's like he's not rubbing her hands or trying to comfort her. I bet he's squeezing her hand, and he's looking right at her as if to say, you better get this right. You can't mess this up. And I've seen it so many times. So I know what I'm looking at. I don't care what any body language expert says if they want to try and argue the point. I've seen it myself, and I've actually had people behave like that towards me. Didn't work, but they tried it. So I know what this behavior is. And it's a really concerning behavior in this context, in the context of a male and a female that are supposed to be together. They're supposed to be one single unit, yet look at the distance between them. You don't see any type of comfort from him. It's not like that. And even when they are standing together, even when he has got his arm around it, it's awkward. They're concentrating more on what they have to say. And this is because, and like I keep showing you, I'm going to remove that for a minute. Like I keep showing you, on here, if we look at here, this is your prefrontal cortex. Right, let me get a pen. This is your prefrontal cortex right here. This is the bit that deals with your behavior. And in here, we've got the limbic system. This is the corpus. The corpus callosum goes right the way through. Sews the two hemispheres together. But this bit is actually called the corpus strialis. And that makes up part of the limbic system, because you've got your thalamus, which is here, which directs all your attention, your pituitary gland, which that secretes oxytocin, And this is your cerebellum here. This deals with all your autonomous stuff like your heart rate, your breathing, your core temperature, all that stuff. But your limbic system, which is my favorite part of the brain, is just right there. This is your limbic system in this area. And you've got your amygdala, you've got your hippocampus, your thalamus, your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland. I've actually got pictures of the limbic system itself because I got into the limbic system because of nonverbal communication. And then when I started getting into deception detection, I started looking into the limbic system a bit more. And I love it. Hey ho. So anyway, there's an awful lot of information coming out about this fella. But that the top investigator exposes truth behind Emmanuel Haro's disappearance. That's J. Scott, Guilty of Crime. Go and watch that. It's a really good video. And even here, look, I'm going to share this. Look at the distance between them. Look at the distance. There's no closeness between these two at all. And the only reason he's holding on to her hand is because I bet he's squeezing it every time she wanders off script, or he's not doing it to cover. He's doing it to control her. And there shouldn't be this much distance between two parents. Not even an interview. Even if you're holding a card, his arm should be round her. She should be laying her head on him and all sorts of. She should feel comforted by him, but she's not. The distance is too much. She wants to get away from him, but he won't let her. That's my opinion. This is what I'm seeing in their behavior. Let's have a listen to what gets said.
Claim, saying that she didn't see Emmanuel at the football game. It seems that the lies are slowly unraveling. If Emmanuel wasn't at the football game, then this...
All right, so this is the time where we can speculate about this. If he was not at the game, and the day before these people were literally doing this, all right? Literally, oh, hold on. Oh my God, hold on. All right, we're going to get to that next. There's also currently on board with that. I'm on board. We're going to jump back to the father here in a minute when we're done, because I really believe that he is the biggest culprit.
Yeah,
and then the mom went along with him. I'm sure she was abused. Both children were abused by both of them. The whole situation is messed up, and it's those two people's fault.
100%. I'm totally with you, Jay. I agree with every damn word you just said.
One of two properties they're involved with in Cabazon. This address here is on Ramona.
Even there, look, you can see. Look at the distance between them. There's massive amount of air between the two bodies, apart from the fact that he's got hold of her hand. And I guarantee you the only reason he's got hold of her hand is so he can squeeze it to make sure she stays. I bet you every time she starts straying or getting little bits wrong, he'll squeeze that hand. And I've seen that behavior. I swear to God. It makes me angry because I know exactly what we're looking at. I know exactly what I'm looking at here. It makes me so angry. But let's carry on a little listen. I know Jay doesn't mind.
50,000 block of Ramona Street. It's pretty much the dead end all the way on Ramona Street, and directly in back of them is I-10.
Again, bad acting. Nobody's crying. This guy's not crying, that's for sure. And that black guy just doesn't match. Right? Let's look at them. They're fake cries. They're fake pleads.
It's just a baby. Just give her some back, please.
Where is 7-month-old Emmanuel? His parents, Jake and Rebecca Haro, say someone kidnapped their baby outside this Big 5 in Yucaipa after assaulting Rebecca Haro and knocking her out cold.
I was gonna get the diaper and somebody said hola, and I didn't see nothing since.
Well, what she's saying, guys?
I didn't see nothing since. Well, you said you saw white. See, this is what I mean. I can't even get the script right. They're so dumb. They can't even get the script right, guys. I mean, they certainly haven't practiced this story very well. I've got to laugh. I'm sorry. It's part of my coping mechanism. These two are hilarious. I can't believe they're not locked up already. I really can't. They should be down themselves, mate, using that little toilet in the corner. I can't believe they're still walking the streets. These two, they're not fooling anybody. And I'm telling you, Jay Scott is not stupid. She is not a stupid girl. So if she says she don't believe her, she knows something's up because she's a smart girl. So and she's got a great sense of humor. Go and see her. Go and see her, and try and catch one of her lives. I want to catch. I haven't been. I keep missing her lives because of the time zones, the time difference. But anyway, like I said, we've gone over a little bit of statement analysis, and I've tried my best to explain to you how we know they're being deceptive. But like I said, the past tense reference in the context of a missing child, a child that's allegedly missing, the past tense reference is very concerning. And Peter Hyatt, Peter Hyatt tells us that time and time again. And what is the first rule of statement analysis? We listen to their words and we believe them. We don't try and read between the lines. We don't make inferences or references or speculate. We look at and listen to their words and we believe them, and we allow their own language to guide us. So that is the first rule of statement analysis. We don't go in with any kind of bias. We believe every word they say, and we allow their own language to talk us out of believing them. So the first rule of statement analysis, according to Peter Hyatt, is we listen to their words and we believe them. Now, in the case of Jack and Ellie Sullivan, we heard Daniel Martel dropping the pronoun. Now here, these two clowns, they don't drop their pronouns, but they make the biggest mistake of their lives by referencing little Emmanuel in past tense more than once as well. More than once in the same interview. So that in itself should be telling you exactly what you need to know. So just a short one today. We've done an hour. There's an awful lot that I can't find, I'm afraid. I'm just getting used to this. I'm not going to be, like I say, I'm not going to make I'm not going to make a career out of being a content creator. I'm just trying to teach you guys as much as I can, and show you what to look out for. Because like I keep saying, I believe it is every adult's responsibility on this planet to protect kids. And if you see behaviors towards children, especially, that you think is questionable, then you have to report it. Because this is why I'm trying to show you what to look for. So you know that when you see it, you know what you're looking at. And, you know, stuff like this needs to be called in more often, because without the info, they can't act on it. So the more people find out and learn what they're looking at, because there's a lot that we take in that we don't notice, especially when people are talking. But our limbic system, you know, when your when you listen to people say, listen to your gut, it's your limbic system telling you something's off here. Something's not right. Thanks, Don. I'm glad you're here, mate. Don's a very good friend of mine. We're Xbox buddies. And he's interested in all this stuff. So he comes to show me a little bit of love and support. Thank you, Jay. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. I'm not going to go on forever because there was an awful lot I did want to cover. I thought I'd done that a couple of minutes ago. Oh, shut up. But there's a lot I can't find because obviously I'm not professional at this. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope we've covered enough and you've learned something. Like I say, I do behavior analysis, so I do like the statement analysis, practical linguistics. Go and give him a look. Go and give him a like. He is starting to grow his channel quite well, and he's really good. He's very, very good linguist. I might not have any qualifications yet, but trust me, I'm good enough to know a good linguist when I see him, and he's extremely good. So go and give him a look. Drop him a like. Subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. And Guilty of Crime, wow. I mean, Jay Scott is brilliant at what she does. So I would always say go and see her. And try and catch one of her lives as well, because I just go out and I try and make her laugh on camera. There's a few of us that made her laugh on camera. But she's got a great sense of humor. She's a great girl. So please go and see her. She's absolutely awesome. And obviously, there's a few more that I mentioned. There's Mr. E's Crime Cast. The link is in the description of my channel. I'm going to have to add Jay Scott Guilty of Crime on there. I keep forgetting because I'm doing all this stuff for the live, and then I'll play Xbox for a while. Forget what I'm doing. Do a bit of studying, a bit of reading, and then autism at its finest. Anyway, so it's been great to have you guys here. Much love all. I'm gonna have to go. Jay's got some. Okay. Oh, excellent. I'll be there, Jay. 100%. About an hour and a half. So we're looking at what, midnight GMT. Hour and a half from now. If Jay's live in an hour and a half, go and see it. It will be brilliant. I know it will. And I'm gonna have to be there. I've got to be there. You're probably not going to want to miss it. Talk about teasing a fella. Oh, you're probably not going to miss it. Go on, reticence, we call it. Oh, much love, Jay. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. And we will be doing some more deep dives and doing some more statement analysis, non-verbals. But I won't be doing any more lives tonight. One, because it's late. It's already 10:30. And two, well, Jay's live in an hour and a half. So I shall be going. I would pop over and see her. So I would implore anybody, if you're not doing anything in an hour and a half, go and watch Guilty of Crime, because it's well worth it. You will not. You won't regret going to see it. It's always a good show. And even if I don't catch her lives, I always try and watch back afterwards and drop her a like. Even if I don't watch the whole video, I still stick a like down if I can. So definitely go and give her a look. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Don. Much love, guys. I'm so happy that you came in, and I'm so grateful. So yeah, just put a like and share and get this information out to people, and you know, let's start getting people educated about what we're looking at with the world around us, because we ignore so much. And it's not because we want to ignore it, it's because we're not educated on what we're looking at. So the more people that get into things like statement analysis and nonverbal communication and behavior, you know, you'll see this sort of stuff yourself. And it'll just, with statement analysis, it just jumps out at you. You don't have to look for it. With body language, you have to get a baseline. There's so much. DD calls it voodoo. He doesn't like body language. He calls it voodoo. I think he's funny as hell. But no, I use nonverbals as a guide. So for stress indicators. Particularly, so if I'm speaking to somebody or I'm watching somebody do an interview, getting asked questions, I'm looking for shifts in baseline and indicators of stress. But most importantly, I'm listening to their words, because the fact is, I've always had a knack for languages, and statement analysis for me is the one. Bombshell info, she says. Okay. This better be good, you know, because I'm going to be so disappointed. I'll put a dislike down, shall I? No, I wouldn't do that. I'll be there, Jay. I'll be there. Just well, you got me on X. Just ping me a message like 10 minutes before you're going to go on. I mean, if you're saying about an hour and a half, it's midnight, so I'll make sure I'll be up at midnight. I've been asleep today, so I'm all right. I'm practically on American time now anyway. So thank you for being here, guys. Thank you for showing me a bit of support. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. And I am now going to go because I want to get a couple of things sorted, and I shall be watching Jay later on. Thank you to Don. Thank you to whoever else came in and had a look. And I shall see you all soon. Thank you for coming, and I'm sure we shall see each other very shortly. Much love, peeps.